cooler looks, get the more players, get more money, get the brand, all of this flows up. So I think this is going to be a big factor. Alright, so today's partner is Totally.style, which I think fits perfectly in our topic for today. Could this be the ultimate crypto investor status symbol or your ultimate flex? Might be interesting. And of course, NFT investors really in the past have not had a way to kind of flex their status, hence what's happening over at Holder. These jackets will appreciate in price, potentially, and just as crypto on their first series, you're going to get a chance to kind of become a no-brainer investment, and how these may become a big collector's item. There are thousands of NFT collectors and investors out there, but there's only 400 Ethereum jackets that will ever be made. So this is one that I'm just interested in just how the evolution of fashion is going. When you go to their website and look at the kinds of jackets that they've got, let's take a look here. So you're looking at two layers here. One, the jacket is on the bottom of the passenger version of the passenger. And in the details, it's up at the bottom version here. One, the total jacket, 388, resellable jacket. By the way, there's not a marketplace there. Maybe that I think is cool. And also here, from the aspect of how it works, is the jacket itself is on the outside and the bottom I think the key here is that global finance, fashion, all of this is at some point we're going to run and faster. So this is the perfect example of how this actually occurred. And I think there was a good event, overall. If you look at Starkey right there, this is the market.
Go.
This is the early access season, 750 releases. There you go. You've got a good market out of it. Real-world brands will start to see these auctions and join our TV family. Alright, so I looked at this collection. I wanted to kind of jump into some of these because these are unbelievable designs, all of which are, as you can see, some pretty pricey. There's the silver version. We've got one down here that I love, which is, you guys are trying to give me a Christmas present. This is the one I would like. Jacket right there. Put that right there. Like, okay, come on. So these are some pretty hefty designs, but also I think in the aspect of collectability, as we see NFTs start moving this, and I think that's where the value of a lot of fashion will be in the NFT space. The big factor is going to be, is there a market for that after? Now, if you look at traditional fashion, you know, and this still works out there today. If you're a Manolo Blahnik shoe wearer, maybe you're a Louboutin shoe wearer, you can resell those in the marketplaces. There's actually a lot of resell capabilities of real world activities over there. So for a NFT to be resold in a marketplace, it is not far-fetched, especially when it's done by brands and the companies like this. The question I have will be, who are the next companies that are really changing the game on this? And I want to jump into a couple of these. Before I do though, let's also jump over to Jimmy Choo. Now they went a different route with the mystery box. So let's say if you wanted to buy this, you've got Jimmy Choo talking about shoes, even though this should have been Manolo Blahnik. But you go in here and buy now. These are sold out, 30 BUSD, and it was a mystery box. It would have been nice to know what the mystery box was. But this is a good marketing tool, I think, for clothes from the finance and NFT connection, and also what Jimmy Choo was trying to do, a really kind of this whole NFT trade, and using that fashion right there. I think it's easier to gain to be able to get how these brands and designers can transition this into something that is really sexy looking for the metaverse, and also utility function within games, things like that.
Come on, Baloo. Let's go, Baloo. Let's go, Baloo.
It's a little bit, Jack, I don't say too much about it, but it's trying to transition this whole process. So you're going to see more and more digital fashion design companies coming to the market. And I think, you know, from a designer's
Baloo. Let's go, Baloo. Yeah, Baloo. Oh, it's closed. Oh, okay. Got me there.
This is an example of basically took a picture of their model, dropped it on OpenSea, and that was kind of the model. I would say that is old school in the sense that we're way past that already. We're moving into kind of the next era of where this is really going. And that is where it's going to get super magical. One of the things that is going to be very cool here is a company that is called the Fabricant. This to me is the future of digital fashion. Not only in real life, but also in the ability to transition that into a metaverse application. So NFT transition, you kind of see what they're talking about. There's these beautiful elements here. And I want to play this video right here because this is a cool one too. Move that down. But you can kind of see what the approach here, and this is Puma and the Fabricant dialing it in terms of design. Now seeing this in a real world transition over to Metaverse, you can start to see the things I'm talking about. And like I said early in the video here, is the company that really kind of comes together with all of this, that really brings design, function, utility, and value all into the Metaverse or into gaming. Okay, now you got something special. You've got collectability. It's kind of like comics or any other thing that is cool and hip and creates that culture awareness. That's how Supreme started. You know, you could just name the number of brands that have that culture connectivity and are able to do it. NFT and how this all transitions is real. This is real progress in terms of fashion and on design and in utility and where it's going to be going. So don't sleep on this one for sure. Flow is the architecture.
For centuries, we've dreamed of travel to distant worlds. But changing the way we travel is our greatest adventure yet.
We're taking home shopping in a new direction. One that brings a bold statement to the table. Here, no one lives out different. Because different is what you came for. And why you'll always leave with something you know for less. So bring home something out of your ordinary. And watch your home become extraordinary. Wait, it's only
for their brand. So you look at all the big guys right here, Mr. City, okay, this is going to be the engine, I think, that is the transition. And I think there will be many companies in this project watching the team that will start to transition tech that's going to be needed to move in this direction. You look at some of the climate organizations like Outflow, empower developers to build thriving crypto and crypto-enabled businesses. Again, the designers really kind of flow into this. And I think the whole idea around digital assets the world, these are rails that we are expecting to see in blockchain. If you've been Web2 developers for very long, if you think about Ruby on Rails, Python, all of that evolution, we're talking about reaching this point, work. You have to have free tech and make all this stuff move into this next kind of evolution of what reality is the Metaverse. So I'm very pumped about this. The last thing I want to talk about is this section right here. Now this is where we're talking about the ultimate in the transition process. Now, both of these is the design 3D to move into not only 3D, but to move this potentially into a function within the Metaverse. That is where this is super intriguing, the value of all these digital assets. Remember, today we're buying land and Sandbox, we're buying space and Bitcoin. We're doing things like that that are creating value, maybe a VIP pass, an alpha pass. All that traditional, but it's very early stage. This is definitely where we start to see labeling kind of aspects in the Metaverse, where we start to see those 3D holographic things like Minority Report, kind of the real world to virtual world aspects of these assets, because I think that is going to be a huge market growth artifact. And I see moving in this direction, we see a massive movement here in terms of major companies. So this is a project, so I think you guys want to see project area that you should really pay attention to. If you're investing in crypto, if you're investing in technology, and you're looking at Metaverse assets to build an investment portfolio, whether it's doing things like on Masterworks with art, doing things like with the company with Holder on physical jackets, all those kind of things will eventually transition into a digital space. Digital space is going to be the one that matters the most in terms of value asset and the ability to reach the masses, just like what we're seeing with Vivi in the comments.
So far.
All of this is moving in that same direction. So do not sleep on this area, because I think there's going to be a lot of blockchain projects that you need to be watching that will associate with this. Watch the games that are tying into these fashion components, and then watch the Metaverse deals that these kinds of companies are making. All right, so you guys are listening in over on the podcast right now. The best thing to do is jump over here to the YouTube channel. You just missed basically a runway show on what Metaverse fashion is going to look like. So get over here, hit the like button. Make sure and hit the like button on this video, because this is something that helps us understand what you want to see here on the show, but also it helps others kind of understand, one, the algorithm helps it move to the next direction for getting us more subscribers, because we want to bring you more content like this. And also, if you have an idea for a show, if you think, hey, Paul, let's dive in a little deeper, maybe look at Flow 3D a little deeper, what kind of partnership deals are they doing? Hit me up on Twitter, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on Tech Guy.
Please.
that project and the Algo team were on to talk about it. And it was in that era and that phase in Bitcoin where we were seeing some FUD on, green mining and all that kind of element. Because they're carbon net zero, they're negative carbon emissions in how they produce and basically the proof of stake ecosystem.
Yeah, there's no mining involved.
Yeah. Let's jump to this story right here. Anthony Scaramucci says Algorand is going to be the winner in TradeFi's blockchain.
That's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement. Yeah. Part of the effort to aim at expanding and growing the guided crypto world, Skybridge Capital, which is Anthony Scaramucci, has secured a new blockchain partnership with trading platform Max, which is a high-speed blockchain project on Algorand. So I like the fact that he is in on it. I do agree with him in the sense that I believe Algorand right now is a very underrated project, even though it is still trading over the $2, which is up almost double from just about a month ago. But the potential for what they've been able to do, if you look at Silvio and what he has done, remember, this is a computer scientist from MIT that basically is the architect behind Algorand. You really understand what his mission was for Algorand. It is impressive. One of the podcasts I would recommend everybody to go check out is just go check out Lex's podcast and look for that one on Silvio Macali, who is the guy behind Algorand, the MIT supercomputer scientist who basically has created what I think could be an infrastructure that may be one of the best in crypto all around.
I wish Fortnite be like this. Can play to earn
All right. Well,
NFT
tell us
item.
more, Paul.
Yeah, using the blockchain. Let's talk about it.
If you do that, man. Fortnite, Warzone, other good game. GTA, oh my god. Imagine GTA.
Yeah.
Play to earn.
This is interesting too because this goes to show again the kind of broad brushstrokes.
Let's go, baby.
Associated with how and utility associated with platform, right? So, but Scaramucci's always been like super bullish on crypto and very aggressive. There's a lot of things that came out of that salt conference.
Yes.
I don't know. Now,
Come on, buddy. Get up here. Someone get up here.
So he knows that the partnership will be banking on the commercial support, which goes back to Max, that he provides offense to the institutional base that really kind of goes in.
And you had it.
Again, this is Skybridge Capital being one, I think, of the more aggressive cryptocurrency and blockchain investment companies out there.
Someone get up here.
When you look at Anthony, he's going after the tech, not necessarily the investment around it. It's kind of like what you look you follow what Captain Wood does, maybe the first steps. He goes around the tech first and then starts investing in those companies. And I think that's where Skybridge is going. I remember I saw, I think it was Kathy Wood,
Flying. Yeah, they. Huh? Yeah. Huh? You have to get ready though.
flexibility of being able to utilize that ecosystem. So just to flow over other date my age or anything, but I've lived through a couple of big trends. One was when basically the internet was born.
I was about to say, sure.
And when we noticed at that era, there was an early adoption group that pretty much ran the show, all right? And it really kind of built the Amazons, the Googles, you name it in terms of what is now the Big Fang group in Silicon Valley.
Right.
Most of that was built off of the internet elite in the mid-90s when that evolution was occurring.
Right.
Those people are still running those companies there. Okay, so I think Algorand and others like that are looking at the crypto community in the same way.
Right.
There's this very early adoption curve. You are one of them if you're watching the show. There's this early adoption curve. You see a lot of people that are going to benefit because of them being at the right place at the right time.
And also too, I think that like sports and crypto, there's like this marriage between sports and crypto that we're starting to see. You mentioned FTX and the Miami Arena. There's also, the Mavericks. Mark Cuban now is accepting, Dogecoin as currency. So it's like there's a lot of different points of integration within sports. And
It's coming.
I mean, this is also too why I don't think that the bull run is going to decelerate over time. Like I do believe that we're just getting started.
That's a big argument there. We've got to talk about the Bitcoin topic is, will the bull run actually see a fall off like what we've seen in the past few cycles? And I'm still of the camp that I think there will be a fall off. I'm just not sure whether or not we'll see it in depth.
I just think that given the scope of utility, when you start talking about NFTs, when you start talking about these different use cases that diversify that can diversify crypto, like I just don't see how it's expansive it reaches.
Yeah.
So
this other story right here, Algorand Foundation launches the $300 million fund to support DeFi innovation. Fund will fuel growth of decentralized exchanges, money markets, option markets, synthetic apps, asset applications, and NFT platforms, all running for future financing.
And again, I want to circle back to the fact that they are they're indexing, they're over-indexing on
Right.
liquidity. They recognize that that's essential to drive dApps,
Yep.
development, etc. And so they're putting their money where their mouth is.
I like their strategy because they've kind of been one of those groups that are very forward thinking. They're going after first of all, the way that they are essentially positioning Algorand as a token is clean, fast, efficient, traditional finance focused, but has the ability to expand into other ecosystems. What does that sound like to you?
A bank?
Well, besides that, Solana.
I mean,
Sounds just like
it's a very, they're very similar, but I think that when you get the head nod from a Scaramucci, he's an extremely influential individual, and those are, that's an indication that you're starting to see some kind of deviation.
Yeah.
So, we'll see kind of how the market reacts to it, but again, this is very promising for Algorand.
So the question is Algorand versus Solana.
Mm-hmm.
You're and I now, full disclosure, own both, love them, like them, and see definite use cases in each one of them. And Algorand has kind of come to the forefront here recently from, for most people that are investing in moving in crypto spaces and looking at altcoins. People have been going on this for maybe the last 30 days. Really, it's been moving in the last 6 months, and we've seen a lot of activity there. But if you look at what happened to Solana here this week, Solana Network says now seeing intermittent instability.
Yeah, very unnerving for Solana holders. What do you attribute the network going down to?
Well, there are many people speculating here. There's some people looking at the fact that one is it's still a beta, and a lot. I don't think a lot.
Can we say that one more time? Because I don't think that people understand.
That.
It's still in beta. So okay.
Yeah, and I think that, and for it to move at the speed in which it has, which is where you get a lot of people who look at this and say Solana's overbought. It is a position right now. If you purchased in at maybe above the 140 mark, which is the mark where I see very comfortable entry zone for Solana based at the current state.
Right.
But if you were buying after that, then you may have been and could be in an overbought position. That's one that was a little scary, especially with something like this happening on a beta project. And I think it was a bad time for it to occur. I mean, you already had the Litecoin debacle at Walmart.
Right.
Crypto was already at the front forefront, and then, oh, by the way, Solana crashed.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what's interesting about that? You know, even still, like, the price remains relatively intact, you know, and like, I think that's also to a testament to believers, you know, like, there's a very strong community that Solana has. And I also think that, you know, the reality is, this is tech. Like, there are going to be issues, there are going to be, you know, technical challenges that need to be sorted, especially when you're in beta. So, keep that in mind.
So I'm going to agree with that in the sense that
it's 5 o'clock here,
new
4 here.
projects are definitely going to get a little bit of a leeway in terms of, you know, things like
You're gonna
this,
have bumps in the road.
where you're going to have bumps.
No, Donnie.
Some of these projects, though, aren't.
It's 2 o'clock over
They
there.
are betting much further in advance.
No,
This
they're
goes
hour
back
less.
to
It's 2:17 over
when
there.
you
She's
go
still
do
got 2 hours.
research on these projects, the key is understanding who that team is.
¿Te gustó el coquito?
Has depth
Ahora sí.
in terms of
Ahí le echó coco adentro.
¿Eh?
She put coconut inside of it.
Sí.
It's good, right?
Facing. That is a paramount difference between a project that's being led by an individual or group of people that maybe the particular project.
Oh, that is right
That's
here.
why you
Oh,
have to,
shit.
from a fundamental analysis standpoint, always look at the team.
trabajar en
If
Joy.
the team is like, you know, mediocre,
Se matarle.
well, then that might not be something that you want to hold in front.
Always.
Estoy pensando todo el tiempo trabajando. Estoy con día libre.
This was something that we saw coming up. We've been tracking it for a couple of months here and have been able to somewhat stay in the prediction zone. These were different prediction points that we had done early on. One, of course, I want to move it over here when we scored Solana back in right here in August and was able to essentially predict out all the way to its next sentiment zone, which we scored at 6974. That was back in the end of August. And then the next one was right here, August 29th, also following it up and pretty much intact all the way to this sentiment zone right here, where 7210 and 7566 was the amp. That was the indicator right here of what Solana was going to do. And sure enough, that's where it literally took off from about 90 bucks all the way up to $214 before we looked at a new bubble. The new bubble, though, does reveal a little bit of softness. You're going to notice the sentiment has fallen dramatically to 65.18. And let me kind of phrase that, because 65.18 is still a very high sentiment score.
Oh, yeah.
But for it to fall off to 72 was a little concerning. Amplification also dropped, and I think that's why we've seen kind of this downward sideways action.
But Paul, let's also acknowledge the fact that there's profit taking. You know, like, you can't have a run up like that without taking, you know, some profits. So.
But that's the whole point, is when you are, if these are long-term holders, which they're not, these are people that are going after it as an altcoin, riding it and looking at it. So does that mean that they're invested into the project? Much like if you look at the Cardano cult, the Cardano cult out there, those people are in it for it. Like, I don't think they'll ever sell it. It's like Bitcoin now.
I know. But I mean, look, I think that price predictions, like, you know, there are this school of thought that it'll run up to $500 by the end of 2021. Yeah. So it remains to be seen if that's the case. But I think that the fact that the mainnet went down and they still, you know, the price still has held rather, is an indication that there's a lot more upside.
Definitely upside. Could it go back to 200? Yes, I do believe that we could see Solana go back to 200. Again, this would happen during the Bitcoin run-up. Sentiment, this was back here in September. September was hovering around 68.72, and we call it for outline. And that was 63.09 there, and then right here on September 12th, this of course is when Algorand kind of hit this new all-time high at about 250, and that sentiment jumped up a little bit more, and even a little bit more in the amplification, which started to send it a little bit sideways right here. And this is kind of the zone we're looking at. So I think we're a window right here is Algorand to maybe make it back to around 230.
Yeah, I think that if it breaks 220, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. 230 is kind of my number, and that's in the short term, guys. For you guys that are looking at some of these price predictions, that's kind of the way we look at it. Is on a 7-day window. We'll start to project out beyond that sometimes, but in most cases, the data gets a little bit mushier. It is definitely much harder to read. If you're listening to us over on the podcast, make sure and of course give us some likes over there.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, hey, I gotta call out the fact that we are almost at 100,000 subscribers thanks to you. So keep doing what you're doing. Subscribing, sharing, and of course comment below. Let us know what it is that you'd like for us to cover. Let us know if you have any thoughts on any of the content that we're covering, and just let us know your thoughts in general. We love to read what you have to say. I can at least that.
Yeah. Thanks for watching again. We'll catch you next time right here.
We should file a claim.
Just did.
Hey, welcome into the live stream today. It's going to be a good one, and of course that's going to be diving into the metaverse and part of how the ecosystem is evolving, because the metaverse is made up of a lot of different things, including staking, obviously tokens, then you have projects, NFTs. You kind of get the gist of this. Today we're going to dive into that. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Sandbox has been one of our big topics, mainly because we've been following this project for quite some time, but at the same time, we've also looked at some of the other somewhat titans, and that is projects like Axie Infinity. If you've been following our show, then you probably understand both these terms, and if not, if this is new to you, you definitely want to stay tuned right here. Make sure and hit the like button to let us know kind of if you like the metaverse content, the gaming content, do you like us doing deep dives, all those kind of things. So that's the way we kind of tell as our fans and our followers and our viewers is really understanding what you guys want to see. Axie and Sandbox, those are the two questions today we're going to be looking at, and that is, where is Sandbox Alpha state? So you guys know Sandbox rolls out their Alpha. The Alpha program itself has been, I think, a big success, and I think overall the biggest challenge for both the investors and that also to a certain extent even the community is just all the activity that's happening. How do you keep up with it? So we're going to try to run down a little bit of that today. So their Christmas Alpha NFTs, very expensive now. If you look at what they're doing here on Twitter, just as an example, did you step into Christmas Eve Miracle during the Sandbox Alpha? Well, now you can own the asset that's featured in that experience. It's created by Lululand World, available on the marketplace now. So these are the kind of marketing plays. Let me zoom in on that for you guys just a little bit. These are the kind of marketing plays that just do fantastic with what's happening within Sandbox. And I think as they continue to build the brand and really to kind of grow what they're trying to do, remember Alpha 2 is coming, that's the next big stage. And where this might go, the valuation of these things is really going to start to accelerate. Just as an example, this is where Lululand World value is on these particular NFTs right now. So you can see what they're trading for right there. I mean, this is ridiculous numbers. Pepper, RIP Snowman. Again, we're going to see all of this in terms of use case scenario is the big advantage. Utility NFTs within the game are going to continue to be a big part of how this ecosystem really blows up. So that in terms of value is a big one. This is another side of this alpha, which is Powder Heroes, to immortalize the best moments of the Sandbox Alpha in an NFT drop from dance parties, Snoop Dogg, Club XYZ, Battling Bees, Green Inferno. You kind of get the slang that's being done here. I'm kind of curious, and I want to know from our audience, we're going to do a poll real quick of how many of you are playing Sandbox right now, or how many of you, let's do playing now and then you plan to play, or you're not interested. Maybe those three options. We'll get a poll for you guys just in central of the playing and actually participating in the ecosystem and in the community itself. I'm kind of curious. Or are you just interested in investing in the metaverse? That tells us a lot about our audience. It also tells us a little bit of what you guys want to listen to and see as we jump forward on a lot of this stuff. Other things that is happening is the animated NFTs that are now available and also very expensive. I want to jump to a handful of these. This one right here, Festive Fun at Pandas. This is a good example. You can kind of see what this one is doing. I'm going to play with this one a little bit. You can see how that's very cool. I love that voxel creation right there. So how is all this going to play into the gaming aspect? Because there are going to be a ton of potential opportunities here when it comes to gaming utilization, and also, and just think about this. I want you to kind of frame this for a second. When you think about AAA game and where AAA gaming has come from over the past couple of decades, really past 10 years, just a massive adoption, both from the console business, also just the explosion of these big franchises within the AAA game. That's where I feel like Sandbox is right now, and even to a certain extent, Axie Infinity, they are in that precipice of just these versions of what is going to be a massive run-up on what's going to happen in the space of what I think will be blockchain gaming as a revolution. So lots happening around that. I want to talk to you guys also a little bit about the rewards that you could be earning and could have earned in the alpha slide. And this is the alpha rewards right here, rewarding 1,000 sand. This was additional rewards that they were giving away. So you have the 200 sand right here, the additional NFTs. Then you got another 100 sand on level 3. You can kind of see the levels. And again, I'm just curious, are all of you, or any of you, essentially coming to our channel? So make sure you hit the poll, let us know. Also hit the like button if it does give us an idea. If you like Sandbox content, if you like the Metaverse content, let us know, because this, of course, is what we're going to be talking about today. And the goal behind this, I think all of this eventually rolls into a couple of things. There are two ways, well, really there's three ways to make money in all of these types of plays. The first way is to go after the in-game assets. Those in-game assets then become more valuable, and eventually you sell those in-game assets or those assets to other players, and that's how you make money. That's phase one. Other phases, of course, is you're just sitting on the sidelines, you're investing in the token, you're watching the chart. Let's go see, by the way, I want to see where Sandbox is, because I know it's running right now. All right, so here we are on the 1 day. Let's take a look at that 1 day. So yeah, so you've got a nice little run up right now that's occurring. So maybe this is the way that you approach investing in the metaverse. Maybe it's just following the token, running alongside and doing investment based on what you know about the project. Listen, a lot of people work that way and understand it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think, it's one of the ways I do it. I have yet to really get in and play it immersively, mainly because I'm a Mac guy. I'm still waiting for a Mac version of that. But I do have the PC available, so I can go in and do a little bit of understanding how the game works, the mechanics, all those kind of things. I want to get active in it, but again, for me, it's a Mac thing. But for a lot of people, it might be a time issue, something of that nature. So maybe this is the other way that you're jumping into earning. The other option is staking. Now, staking, you guys are familiar with this. You've been doing it with other projects. Maybe you've done it in DeFi, whether it's on things like Aave or Curve or any of those kind of scenarios. And now we're seeing a lot more of that occurring here in the metaverse and with Axie. If you look at Sandbox staking, or excuse me, with Sandbox, but also Axie's on my brain, because Axie's doing some really cool things with staking. Let me kind of zoom up on this one a little bit. So basically, this is interesting too, because in the staking component inside Sandbox, look at the flip that occurred. Because remember, we reported on this in our last Sandbox video, and Matic had not, it was still trading under in terms of the total value locked, which to me, again, just shows you the ZK roll up and this shift of feeless type transactions are so important with all of these game programs. And this one right here is Matic trading at 94.02 million total value locked, APR 167%. Look at that ridiculous rate right there. And now you've got ETH at 45 million, and of course 8130. Now if you have ETH, okay, I understand that. But if not, and you've been able to hold bags of Matic, this is a great place. If you are into Sandbox, this is a great place for you to really go in and start to stake and do these wrap tokens where you're getting Matic and Sand as a wrap. So that is a huge money maker. Now, let's take a look at, and think about this for a second. because a lot of people have been asking me in DMs on this, and I also get a lot of people who just email us, which is really easy. But for some of you, by the way, if you want to email the studio and you have just general questions, just what I would do is just info@reverendnetworks.com. That's a quick way for you to get it, at least through the first email filter that we do. But what they've been asking is, do you feel like Metaverse could be the new area of long-term holds? And if you look at this story here by Cointelegraph, Metaverse gaming tokens, ETHverse, and Axie Infinity avoid the crypto downtrend. Now, a lot of people were looking at this, so you can see the subline here. Sandbox, Axie Infinity have bucked the downtrend in Bitcoin and Ether, which has really kind of been the biggest issue, because the biggest and best performing sector has been the emerging Metaverse gaming applications. The emerging division of blockchain Metaverse saw its market capitalization swell by more than 9%, previous 24, 8% in the last 7. You can kind of see the movement there. This, of course, is gains on the back of volatile upside moves in ETH. And then, of course, Sandbox, GameSwap, Guild Games, Easy to get, which we've done a Guild Game video. If you guys have not checked that one out, you should do it. Because it really goes into the guilds and how they all play into it and what that means. But what it does tell me is that we're continuing to see these massive opportunities. You look at these sectors right here. Currency's down 8 on the 7. Stable was down a little bit. DeFi, Web3, decentralized DEXs, etc. Then you've got this inter-hedging track. Whoa, wow. The thing's blowing into it. I think the poll's trying to come in right now. Looks like, okay, so it looks like just want to invest 64%. I want to play 25%. And then also I've already played only 9%, so 222. So that's great. All right, that tells me a little bit more. So this is more in tune to what you're thinking, and that is this a potential hedge for an investment if you're looking at the category of Metaverse and moving into this sector? Because that's something that is a really big issue as you look at long-term investment and figuring out what kind of match you think you can into. Everybody has limited funds, maybe fixed number of assets that you can really get into, and you have to kind of pick your horses to really understand whether or not, and know those horses to really understand whether or not you're going to be able to get any gains on them. So, big one. Gaming tokens fared not only better in terms of the US dollar, but also against Bitcoin and ETH. This, of course, is in the last 24, and this is written. For instance, animated, obviously what we're talking about here, players can own, build, etc. Good movement, rose more than 27%, Bitcoin and Ether. And then if you look at ETH, relative unknown asset, NFT asset, also more than doubled against the 2 top cryptos. Again, we know that, you know that, if you've been watching our show, you understand that this transition is occurring right now within the sector of the crypto metaverse, so to speak, and the potential here for a transition into maybe a new major category. Because prior to the first of the year, NFTs were really still very lightly used in terms of utility. And that has been the big story, the big narrative is the transition from traditional NFT, static JPEG, etc., to this whole ecosystem around utility. And projects like Sandbox, projects like Axie Infinity, all of those have kind of been moving in the direction of utility and valuation and increasing in terms of valuation. I still tell all my friends is, even if you're not interested in playing the game in some of these projects, you should be interested in investing in the assets, because the game players will come to you, the guilds will come to you when you're ready to sell those assets, those in-game assets, those digital assets on the open marketplace within those projects. So that's something that I do currently. I buy land, I invest in, big time, just grab space, all those kind of aspects that eventually, VIP passes, same thing here, if you had your Alpha Pass, imagine what that's worth now. I think we have some numbers on that. But Alpha Pass and what that's going to be worth when we see the Alpha 2 Pass coming up for Axie. So lots happening here, for Sandbox. And I think a lot are happening here on where this might be going in the future. Let's jump over to Axie Infinity for a second. I want to look at this one right here. this tweet, let me zoom in on that. Sometimes these tweets are a little easier. So Axie Infinity team have leaked some power-ups from the Origin update that is soon to be released. This is on their Substack, which is another thing you guys should be doing. Even if you're just following the token for investment, 60% of you, 64% of you are investing. Make sure, by the way, get your questions in the comments below. We'll try to answer, or in the live chat, we'll try to answer those as we can. But what this tells me is that you've got to be able to follow where, there's two areas I really watch. One is either the Medium or the Substack releases from most of these projects. Medium, Blog Engine, Substack, Blog Engine. I would watch those very closely. Axie happens to be on Substack, which is a great one. You should jump to it. But the other aspect to this is just Twitter. Get in there and really engage and understand what's happening in the community. If you don't understand completely, not a big deal. Go out, do the research, kind of jump in and understand where this might be going and what they're trying to do as a whole. But this one right here, again, leaks some new power-ups, so I still see more potentials here, especially when you look at, remember, Unix is a gaming guild, and we're going to see more and more growth on Axie Infinity, and even probably within many of these other games. We talked about Star Atlas getting guilds coming in, most likely it's going to happen with projects like Big Time. All those guys are going to really kind of be flowing into, I think, a lot of growth in this guild. Here's another thing that is kind of interesting. There are also many other ideas we're considering for SLP, which is the Love Potion, which is the token that is kind of the tradable token within the game itself. For utility, as well as one idea to have the body part power-up that may require SLP to craft. So now, there's another key component to another in-game asset that you need utility tokens to be able to utilize. Now I know this starts to get complicated, but for you guys that are just investing in this is a good thing because it shows the creativity and the way in which these games are being crafted that's really drawing in this addictive nature. Why does that matter? Addictive games do great. If you look at Fortnite, you look at Halo, you look at any of the AAA games that have really had absolutely run-ups in terms of adoption, that's because they had great game crafters and they were doing things like this right here in terms of building kind of these little mini economies within the games themselves. Big move in terms of adoption. Also, another tweet right here, with that said, there will be Axie releasing mechanisms in the future so that regardless of their changes, they can be released to still gain value in return. So that gets really interesting again and this is one of the reasons that I think Axie, between Sandbox and Axie, these two are just massive potentials on where they're going to go. These are two big tokens that in the metaverse, they're my Bitcoin and my Ethereum. Definitely when you think metaverse and gaming, Axie and Sandbox, I would hold Gala kind of up there in that class, along with a handful of others. But those are the two big boys that I would definitely. But this right here is why it matters. And if you look at this last statement, also, as the universe expands, we expect every Axie will gain significantly more utility. So think about that for a second. Imagine if you have this massive run-up of adoption, and Axie has done that. Obviously, we've seen the price, we've seen the growth of what's happening with Axie. Now we've seen the advantage of staking, which I'll show you some cool stuff here on staking. And also, we'll talk about maybe some ways in which you can avoid some of the fees, some workarounds on that in terms of staking. I want to run another poll. And this could go across all tokens. How many of you are staking tokens right now? It doesn't matter if it's metaverse gaming, just staking in general. How many of you are staking tokens or not staking tokens? Love to kind of get your feedback on that. So the point I'm making here on this tweet is they see a big future here for where Axie is going. And the utility nature within these games, the capability of earning not only value within in-game assets, are going to drive the token price. Imagine if you're following Microsoft or Apple. Let's just use those two examples. You're watching all the moves that Apple is making on every iPhone that's released. You're looking at what they're doing on their on their new Mac M1 chips. If you're a real tech guy, you're following those things. That's the exact same thing that I'm talking about right here. That is the M1 chip of Axie. This is how we're going to see a generation of value being built in some of these projects. So that I think is huge. And I want to look at this stake value, and just so to you guys' point, maybe we'll have the poll here in a second. This is the top 10 crypto assets staked by value. So there it is, Solana being number one. Total stake, 76.86%, good number. Let's zoom that up a little better so you guys can see that. Then you've got Ethereum, obviously at 7.18. I was kind of surprised on that. It's just the volume, sheer volume of Ethereum. Then Cardano, 70% of Cardano being staked. Luna, 37%. Avalanche, this one was very impressive at 60% in such a short time, currently trading at 122. Polkadot coming in at 53%, good solid one. Then you got Binance Smart Chain, Protocol, Polygon, and Algorand kind of rounding out the pool. That I think is cool when you look at staking in general, because that is a way to earn these massive incomes on you're not doing anything, you're just parking your money in there. Just go back to this for a second. I want to go to the reward here on staking. Let's take a look at some of the biggest ones that might be in here. Close that cookie fly. So let's say the biggest one right here on Binance Smart Chain, you're getting around 17%. Let's look on further down, 13% on Polygon, which a lot of sites will do up to around 10 or 12. Looks like we've got, okay, so we've got a number coming in on our polls. Are you currently staking any of your tokens? 63% of you say yes. That's what I want to hear. That is good. That is such great strategy. It's very smart investors are doing that. Good moves on you guys. But look at the numbers here. And then I want to jump over to, let's go over to Axie for a second. And I want to show you the total stake on Axie right now. Right there. 21 million currently in Axies themselves. So you've got a little over 0.25 billion of those, and estimated returns 111% APR. People, that's 111% versus what we were just looking at right here in these kind of run-ups. So again, this gets back into those systems that are building and communities that are building this in-game value, this play to earn, play and earn. As I've said a couple of times here on the show, 2022 is going to be one of the biggest opportunities in gaming and metaverse. I feel like it's 2013 Bitcoin all over. We just are going to see so much action in this space. Even though you still have the big boys, Sand, Axie, playing out and continue to add value. So don't sleep on either of these tokens. Obviously, you're not sleeping on Sand because it's right here, it's on fly right now. So that is a big advantage, I think, of moving to the next level. 21, yeah, that right there. So back again, 111% on the APR for staking Axie. Now here is a tip. This is something that one of our researchers in the studio is trying to work out a format on how to get your Axie staked without really incurring a lot of fees. You may have Axie, because remember, you got to move this into your Ronin wallet. So let's kind of walk through this for a second. If you're owning Axie, and or you're trying to move it, the potential here of getting it into your Ronin is the key factor. So there's an opportunity of moving this through your MetaMask. Obviously, we're going to have some gas fees that are eventually going to have to take off or be generated, but it's going to happen when you move it off your MetaMask into your Ronin wallet, which is at that point you just plug into Ronin and boom, you can start staking. So that's an advantage that could keep your gas fees and your costs down a little bit in terms of how that might transition for you. And I'm kind of curious, how many of you are using MetaMask? Another poll, because and let's do a couple of wallets here. How many are using Trust Wallet, MetaMask, and then let's put in Phantom, because that's going to be your Solana wallet. So if you're utilizing any of those three, I'm sure MetaMask is probably going to win this, but I'm just kind of curious how many of you are using these wallets to kind of move around. Obviously, the Ronin wallet being specifically tied over to Axie Infinity. Just as a reminder, sand price definitely blowing up here. as we are filming, up around $6, so it's had a nice increase today. Let's take a quickly look at Axie, also blowing up. And again, these two kind of run in unison. So it was down from its price at right at $100, but it did have a low here earlier today, which was right at $99. So let's look at the 7-day. Kind of see that dip right there. A lot of people were trying to buy that dip. And then if you look at that 1 month, yep, that was the $90 dip. So we've got another high that we're trying to get to, which is the 139. And if we are on a run right now for what I think could be happening, because remember, we got Bitcoin over 50K, we've got Ethereum now cracking over close to 42 by the time we're probably on this. We probably need to go over and take a look at the market cap real quick just to see where things are. Yeah, Bitcoin's still holding in at 50,000. It looks like it's going to go to 51 here in a minute. Ethereum right at 41, still up a little bit. Bitcoin rising. Binance Coin, let's look at the 24-hour just so we know. There's Near Protocol, which was one of our big picks. Obviously, Sandbox we're talking about. There's Aave in the DeFi crowd, and there's Gala jumping in. So you can kind of see the point I'm making here, even just in this 24, much less what we've seen in some of the real volume movement throughout the year, is that these gaming and metaverse projects are absolutely going to be on fly for where we're going. Let's look at the 90-day winners. I'm going to just give an example here. So right there is your 90-day winner, 778%, none other than Sandbox. So you guys understand what I'm talking about right here. There they are. Gala in the top. We don't see the traditionals, guys. There's Decentraland, and guess who? The big boy in the crowd, which is on our top. By the way, you got to watch that video. Our top 20 altcoin sentiment ranking. Polygon was number 1 in there. Luna number 3, right there in the heels. Helium. We've had Charles on a couple of times talking about what Helium is doing, and if you haven't watched that video, and if you're interested into new tech, Helium is definitely one to kind of keep an eye on. So you can kind of get my point here. We are winning big in this space, and these are the traditional titans that have been rolling into this. In 2022, watch out. I think there's going to be some new players coming in. So what wallet are you using? MetaMask comes in number 1, 61%, others 20. Trust Wallet, found very low. That's a little surprising. Wow, 153 votes. Wow, anyway. Listen, great stuff, guys. Let's get into some of the questions, because I know there's a bunch here that we're going to try to answer and get going. Because I'm just, obviously you guys are wanting to get going. We are going to do a giveaway on, in a minute, we are going to do 2 Diamond Circle giveaways of $250 each. And that is going to be Polygon. So again, all we need, if you're in the Diamond Circle, you're in here. The way we're doing Diamond Circle right now is because the list is so large, it's the technical aspect of what we're using in the wheel. We randomize the list, a percentage of the list to drop in each giveaway. So a group of that gets slotted out of the big list. We drop it into the wheel, and the Diamond Circle wheel obviously needs a random. So make sure you hit the like button. If you like getting free digital assets, you gotta hit the like button. All right, so let's get into it. Do you think staking rewards will be reduced over time for Axie? This is a good one. So we've been talking, it has been occurring. Remember that when they first started staking, it was around 230%. And it's reduced down now to 111%. Now it's stabilized, but remember, because of all this new activity that they're trying to build into the Axie ecosystem, what are they going to need? They're going to need liquidity. So they're going to start stimulating liquidity. And if they start stimulating liquidity, we're probably going to see a stable percentage hold, if not maybe start increasing again. So I'm still very bearish or bullish on staking in Axie. I'm trying to figure out how do we do more of it. In terms of going that direction. Paul, is a high staking percentage for a coin a good indicator or a bullish sentiment? So this is a good question in the sense of this could go 2 ways, because in some scenarios, especially in DeFi, I'm always worried about the high percentages because they're usually riskier assets. But once you get into an ecosystem that is a digital asset system like Sandbox, Axie, those kinds of things, now it's a different game, because that is not indicative of risk, it's indicative of liquidity. And liquidity is strong. If liquidity is strong, then your staking, if the liquidity need, I should say, is strong, then your staking percentages are going to be higher. So depending on the asset, I would say in Metaverse, higher percentages, stronger project, because that means they've got something happening within the ecosystem. In the DeFi space, it's usually riskier assets, they're on the higher percentage. So let's see what that is. All right, Axie, taking too long to make my moves. In my opinion, 1 billion Axie, they still haven't created any new utility. I've been talking about this for months now. Unlimited NFT gaming. So I like this as a note because this is a
These
good
are mine,
point.
right?
Sometimes
¿Dónde
we,
fue vecino?
as investors, want these
The
things
one
to
that I have one
happen
here
a lot
with my-
faster.
with
Sí,
my
la
baby.
ya,
So
sí.
you know that with moves,
Oh, it has to be this one, 'cause I opened it
price
like
moves,
this.
price action on the charts. I would agree with this to a certain extent, but I want you guys to remember just where this has come from. And I just want to go back to, we'll get up here, I'll pull up the action just so you guys kind of get a framework of it. But the point being is that with many of these projects, you have to look at the overall, remember, zoom out a little bit on where you're going. And let's go look at the year to date on where Axie. Now you can't tell me that this wasn't a good investment if you were pushing money into this back in May when everybody else was, struggling in the summer and Axie was trading at $3.65. I'm sorry, that just isn't, that one is where I get into it and say, listen, of course it's had a massive run up this year. The likelihood though is this only verifies the potential for these kinds of projects to do something that's even much greater than what we've seen already. So you have to be patient with these, especially in blockchain gaming, I think, and also in Metaverse. You've got to be patient because some of these things are going to take 5 years to play out. Look back on ETH 5 years ago. Look back on Bitcoin 5 years ago. Cut that time horizon in half, and that is where you are going to be with Metaverse and gaming, probably at 10 to 100x. So that's my big point there. Thoughts on Engine? This is one that I think is always overlooked. It's a good project. I love what they're doing in the Metaverse, in gaming, and in an ecosystem of building community. We've got to do a video on Engine. We've done one before, and we need to break back down into that. All right, is it better to stake Axie? What is the best way to stake? I talked about this a little bit there, Jay. The idea is if you own Axie on something, you need to move it off and of course get it into your Ronin wallet. So whatever route you take to getting it into your Ronin wallet, you're gonna incur fees. So the key is how do you do it with the least amount of fees? So you could convert that to something like, how about this? If you wanted to buy Smooth Love Potion, like on crypto.com, you go over there, buy Smooth Love Potion, move Smooth Love Potion over to and through your MetaMask, then into your Ronin wallet, which you then use as an exchange for Axie. So there's a way to get to moving Axie over, in essence, without incurring a lot of fees. So there's some potentials there for you to go that way. Matic versus ETH, DT. I think it's a hands down right now. I'm still a Matic winner on this. I still think that is going to be a long bag for me and a bigger bag at some point than where I am on ETH. Just so you guys, I've done a video on this, is that I am reducing my position on Ethereum a little bit, even though it's running right now, and I look at it right now, I just don't know if we're going to see the kind of run up that we had anticipated. Remember, it's kind of like figuring out who's going to 2x, who's going to 3x, who's going to 5x, and then rebalancing to be able to be in the right camp. It's kind of like playoff football. Who's playing the best at that given time? You want to be in that camp. If you're betting guy, you like football, that makes sense to you, hopefully. But if you're looking for that 5x gain, it's not going to be ETH. It's going to be another token, so be on the lookout for those. Lots of questions here. Has the big buildup around Mana fizzled, or do you think that major news might be on the horizon? If they drop news, I think any kind of news right now in Metaverse, you can just automatically add price action to it. So if you're following, and if you don't have your Google Alerts set up on Metaverse right now, I would suggest that you do that. Just go set a Google Alert, Metaverse, anything, and then start dropping in all of your favorite tokens. You guys should probably be doing this anyway on Google Alerts. It's really easy. It's a news alert. It'll pop it into your email. It'll give you a little rundown on everything Sandbox, everything Axie, whatever it might be. Where is Gal? So I would say yes. If they drop news, definitely going to pop. Am I seeing Decentraland getting pushed to the back of the line? Maybe a little bit, but don't necessarily count them out. Yeah, don't count them out. All right, where's Gala Cosmos on your ranking comparing to them with Sand, Axie, Mana? Gala I like, as I would put it in my top 5 for Metaverse gaming coins and projects. Sand, of course, is in there, and so is Axie. Mana is not in my top 5. My neighbor Alice, good project Val. This is one we want to really go into. I know we got one in there. We really want to get into because I think that one has a lot of potential here. So my neighbor Alice actually made it on our top 10 gaming tokens to watch for 2022. We continue to push on that one. Super chat coming in from Edmund. And that is, love the content. Would you see an episode dedicated to building a long-term diversified portfolio? Funny you asked that, Edmund. We talked about that today in the crypto pit, and the idea is how do we build kind of a medium risk, a moderate risk, and then a high risk portfolio? Because some people like to, or maybe it's a group. I'd like to know that. Drop it in the chat if you want a high risk, a medium risk, or a moderate risk. So just put high, MED, medium, MOD for moderate. And we'll put that in there. Another super chat coming in from Newbie. And there's, I'm bullish on Sandbox, but I personally can't wait for the console block. Yeah, I would agree there for NFTs on Xbox, PS5. Listen, when that happens, I hope you guys are holding Sandbox. Because when Xbox, PS5, any console releases Sandbox, the massive adoption we're going to see on a voxel style game like this is going to be huge. Just the pure run-up on where price action is going to go. Some people are going to be introduced for the first time to what's happening, and then they're going to figure out play to earn. Then they're going to figure out digital assets. Come on, that's going to blow. It's going to completely go. Joy, let's get into. I would like to hear more about staking and the best projects to stake. We're going to do a video for that, just on staking. I think maybe in the Metaverse, because staking inside of the traditional DeFi, those are pretty. Even though a lot of people maybe have not done that yet. Let me think about that as to what kind of video we should put up. Some people like to go into the staking side from the Metaverse angle, and some people like to go the DeFi route. So it's different because the Metaverse staking projects, they're just tied differently to different economics, and because of that, there's higher percentages. So something to think about. Oliver, free and earn to play, those will be preferred. Okay, I would agree. Free to play for sure, because that's what the gaming community has been dealing with for the last 2 decades. They want free to play. Earn to play, but here's the way I think it would play out in a good way, and that is not only just play to earn, but play and earn. And we've talked about this before. If you get a game that gets a lot of traction and gets a lot of adoption, but more importantly gets that, that addictive element into it, as long as it's free and play and earn, I can earn while I may do it and I may not do it, definitely. All right, so high risk portfolio strategy. 50% of you want to go high risk? Whoa, man, you guys are gamblers out there. 44% of the medium. Okay, I like it. Gamblers, guys after my own heart. Let's do it. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. Star Atlas or Sandbox? Sandbox. It's a good day for Sandbox. Yes, sir, it is. Good day for Sandbox and Matic. Some of you guys think about this. A little money off the table. Take a little of that froth. Don't get caught. Always want to take a little bit. All right, we're going to get to the wheel here because we got 2 giveaways to do, and that is getting ready to bum through. Let's just go in and see what we have here. This is for a $250 digital asset in Polygon. You just need to shoot your digital asset wallet over to us when we send you the email, and we'll drop it over that way. All right, so it looks like we're going to swing. Sometimes this one takes a little bit longer. Let's see who's winning this one. Looks like, what do we have here? Scott, or no, it's going to be Chris. All right, Chris Harvey. Like it. Merry Christmas, Chris Harvey. And here we are. We've got some videos we'll be releasing throughout the weekend. We won't do anything, of course, on Christmas Day, but we'll drop some stuff on tomorrow, Christmas Eve. We've got some stuff coming over on Sunday. We'll be back at it for the new year. next week and kind of kicking it off. Lots of new stuff happening in the studio coming up. Lots of new stuff. All right, Mohammed, looks like you. Rashid is going to be our second winner right here. Stay tuned for as well. Again, digital assets, easy to win here. Man, it's so easy. Just click that link right there, fill out your information. You're in this wheel, all right? And that's the way it works. The list is getting large. Our membership is getting large. We know that we're going to need to drop you guys more insights, which we're going to do. All that's coming your way. Make sure and stay tuned right here for more great content. If you want us to hit up anything, hit in the links below or the comments below. And of course, hit me up on Twitter at Paul Barron. Catch you next week right here on Tech Guy.
morning, everyone. Okay, good morning, guys. All right, so as I said, to those of you guys in chat, I have long on SCKT. I bought at 89, and on this one, so I'm up 5 cents. I haven't taken any profit yet. I want to add for the break over 4. There's resistance on the daily. There's one level at 415, and then from there, our all-time highs on the stock are about 486. So I think this is our leading gap in the entire market. It's up 170% on 20 million shares of volume. I'm going to put an order here for the break of 4. I'm adding right there at 98 for the break over $4. And, you know, to be honest, this is the type that we'll see how high it goes. 410 would be my next order. But it's certainly showing some good momentum. It's got a decent daily chart. There's a 40,000 share bid there. So, you know, I think it's a good idea to take a little profit at 4, 401, 402, and then add back if you can break over 405 for the move up to 410. The high of that candle there is 403, and I'm still holding 7,000 shares at 393, adding from 89 to there at 98. We'll see whether it can get back up over 4. So the highest candle here is 403. 403 is our breakout spot. You know, something that I'll say, I'm going to just hit the bid at 93, break even on the rest of it. Something that I'll say on this is that it seems rather heavy. It seems rather thickly traded. And I'm not exactly sure why. It's a 4.6 million share float. But, you know, this 1 minute pullback right here, the break of 93, 10-cent move, only 10 cents, it's not a lot. Certainly a lot less action on this than we've had on other stocks this week, even though it's up 170%. So now as it dips down off the 20 moving average, there could be dip trades on it, but so I'm not going to do that for right now. My only trade on it was a long at 89, an add at 98, an exit at 4, and then sold the rest at 93. So small trade. You know, I'll take what I can get, but it's not a big winner by any means. So yeah, second leading gapper. So, and let me just break down the daily chart on this a little bit more. So daily chart, we've got the high of this candle right here, as you can see. So let's zoom in on that. So this is our daily level here, 415. Above 415, we go back here. We look for the next level. So, you know, maybe a little bit around 450, $0.50. And then that right there is all-time highs, 489. So, oh wait, oh gosh, my chart wasn't. See, that's interesting. My chart was only going back to 2016. Okay, all right, well, so this chart's now exploding. All right, so you've got a long history of reverse splits. Okay, so that's why it's so thickly traded. Okay. All right, it's interesting. On this chart over here, where I have it up, the daily chart only goes back to there. So that's where I thought, oh, okay, we've got our all-time highs right here around 489. So let's see, why is that not doing that? Right. So this 200 EMA correction was something that, so currently the 200 EMA, let's look at this for a second. So the 200 EMA is at $1.48 right now. So let me change the time template to auto. Because what used to happen on this, and let's zoom into like here, and let's switch to a different chart. So let's zoom in here to what was the other one? ZDG. So you zoom in here, $1.45, BPTH. BPTH is 475. What used to happen is if you were zoomed in, the 200 moving average wasn't right because it wasn't actually loading the price of the last 200 bars. But it looks like they fixed that. So I'm gonna switch my time templates on all these other to auto, so this doesn't happen again. Oops, that's a 10-second chart. Switch time template to auto. Because that, that's the type of thing where all of a sudden you realize you've got, you're incorrect in your assessment because of your chart. That's going to cause an issue. I mean, this shows a very, very different looking chart than if we just went back to 2016. So that really does change my perception of the stock. And it explains a bit more of the price action that we're seeing here this morning, which is that, yes, it's a 4 million share float, but it's very thickly traded. So it's got a lot of trading history behind it. All right, so we've still got about 30 minutes to the bell. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Okay, so, well, we've got about 30 minutes to the bell here. So our leading gapper is SCKT, which I've already taken one trade on, and I'm not sure that I don't know. I mean, you can see obviously it's up a lot, but the price action of it feels very thickly traded. It feels like a downdraft of sellers on these big red candles. I don't know that this is going to be really the home run stock today. And we may not have a home run stock today. Not every day is, like that. So EVK from yesterday, just to flash back to this one, very, very nice moves. I made about 20,000 on it, and I didn't even trade it through this move right here from 492 all the way up to 676. Very nice. Good job for those that took the trade on that breakout. I'm going to actually add this one to the classes here. This is a good flat top breakout setup. So let me just grab a screenshot of that. Let's see. This was where I finished yesterday. So this was 20,000 on EVK. No, actually, I finished up 108,000. So I had one more trade. SQBG 82,000. So had a really good day yesterday, no doubt about that. These are very well established patterns right here. So this is so. So I'll probably just drop this one in this area as one of the examples for the classes. Yeah, it's a good one. So anyways, good job for those of you guys who traded it. I, as it turns out, left a little money on the table by not trading it or not continuing to trade through the rest of the day. But of course, finishing up 108,000 is not bad. So this is my P&L on the month, sitting at $728,000 on the month of October. Yesterday, I made 108,000. This week has been on fire. 102 on Monday, 57, 65, 108. So let's see, that's 210, that's 275. That puts me up at about 325, 330 on the week, on the dang week. So market is hot. Now it is Friday. So we could have a wild card Friday where we have a good, really strong finish, or we could have a slow Friday. I don't know. So far, being 9 a.m., I've only taken one trade on whatever it is, and I'm not super impressed with the price action. Okay, so that was EBK from yesterday, SQBG from yesterday. Now this one ended up fading. I broke the volume weight average price, halted going down, and then sold off. So that's a little discouraging that it did not hold its levels very well. All right, so that one's not a continuation stock. And EVK, I don't think I would do continuation on this unless it broke over 5. ZDGE. ZDG. All right, so ZDG is moving up here. High was 339. Increase in revenue. It's fine. ZDGE. Look at the daily chart. I'll flip over to the daily for a second. What levels do we have? How far back does it go? Let me just make sure I'm on the right time template. Switch this back to auto as well, just to make sure. So all-time highs on this stock are in 2016 when it hit a high of 774. Now, one thing to mention that sometimes can be a factor, sometimes stocks will change their stock symbol or do mergers and stuff like that. So sometimes there actually is more trading history behind it, but it was under a different symbol or a different company. So that can sometimes change the sort of appearance. But generally, you're not going to know that, so you just kind of work with what you've got here. All right, so some nice levels in there. Down in this area, I don't see anything especially interesting, to be honest. I don't have any strong daily chart. Yeah, if it got over $6, $7, you're looking at a move up towards the all-time highs, but it's a ways off that level now. So, all right, so that I gotta do the 24-hour time template. Something pre-market. Okay, so yeah. Again, it's got increasing volume here, which is good. The high of this candle was 77. That was a high right there. So we're going to switch to the orange intraday lines. High of the last 5-minute candle was 75. No, that's a 1 minute, sorry, 5 minute. So you see it moving up a little bit. 10,000 share seller at 80. Here's 82, 81. I'm just not sure yet about it. It doesn't, I don't know, I guess it doesn't look super juicy. It's moving up, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll wait to see if it gets over 3 or something like that. Those of you guys tuning in on Facebook and YouTube for the free pre-market watch list, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, and share this video with a couple of your friends if you haven't already. It makes a huge difference for the channel, so thank you for doing that. I wanted to see if SCKT has a second. Yeah, so they have, no, so that's 3 years old. They had a shelf registration, but it was in 17. So, yeah, I don't know. So ZDGE, nice high volume in these candles here. You can see the volume ramping up. The high there is 90. It's up 83%. There's 92, 93, 94. Comparatively to SCKT, it's moving more, and it's moving a little faster. So we've had a period of 3-4 candles up and then a pullback. Looks like we're starting to pull back here. Let's see whether or not that gives us an opportunity to reposition for the next trade. Announces a 39% increase in revenue, 277% increase in paid subscriptions. That's all good stuff. Those are good catalysts. So it seems like it's going up a little further. Let's see if it has resistance at the whole dollar. Still have 25 minutes to the bell. So this candle looks like it's about to close possibly as a topping tail. So let that pull back. Let's keep going down the scan for a second. DOGZ. I'm not buying ZDGE here at this spot. DOGZ. We need to get back above volume weighted average price. On ZDGE, I do see that buyer there, the 26,000 shares. So big bid. We'll see if it continues up. CLPS. There's another bid at $3. So let me flip back to this. So now it's breaking over 3. You've got a high of 303. So 303 is the next spot to watch. If it breaks 303, then you have 304, 305. Over 305, then you look to 310. So let's see if this continues up towards 310. There's 5 on the ask. It's going to break 5. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think there was an opportunity there to do a trade from 299 to 305, 306. A little on the riskier side, not probably a position to take a full size trade, but small little base hit. The current high is now 310, but so you have two things going for you now. It's broken over the whole dollar and it's holding above it. So what I would generally say is I'm going to let it dip down back to 3. I'm going to take a long right there at 305. I'm going to buy with a stop at 99, and I'll add over 10. Over 310 is my add spot. Adding right there for the break of 310. Now I want to ride this momentum up to 325. And see if we get a test of the pre-market high, which is 339. So 315 is my next add spot. Look for the break of 315. Then 320. There's 315 on the ask. I'm looking to add at 316. Watching here. I just want to try to scale in for that parabolic move. Once it holds over a whole dollar, that's when I start to get excited. Added at 16, now looking for the break over 17 and 18, and then through 20. So I keep scaling into the move higher. My next add spot is going to be at 318. So let's watch this over 318, and then a test of 320, 25. 325 would be a nice level to see. Nice 10,000 share bid. Sell micro pullback here. 19 is the next spot to watch. Look for the trade over 319, and then just keep, in my opinion, riding this momentum up towards the pre-market highs. We now have 6 million shares of volume. It's up 99%. Watching here for an ad. My target on this would be 325. So there's 16 on the ask. Looking for 17, 18, 19, and then the breakthrough 20. So I'll hold through a dip and buy off of $3. And then I'm in for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Watch here. Looking for the break over 19 and then through 20, 25. Holding full size. Haven't sold anything yet. I want to catch that squeeze through 320. So I'm going to let it pull back here. And first 1 minute candle to make a new high. High of this current candle is 15. So we've got 15 on the X. This candle closes in about 30 seconds. Watch here, 16, 17, adding there at 18. Quick trade over 19. I want to see if we get the break through 20. This is a flat top breakout right here at 320. I don't want to sell until we see 319, 320, and then volume right at that level. This candle's about to close, which gives us our flat top breakout pattern. And then we'll look to add at 3. Adding at 303 right there, buying that dip. So catching the dip, and now at the first candle that curls back up over 315. First 1 minute candle to make a new high. Will be the next setup for the break over 320. Order at 316 to add. So we've got 310, 312. I'm going to move my order up to 318. High of this current candle is 315, and we've got 20 seconds left on it. There's 14, there's 15. Looking for that first 1 minute candle to make a new high, which is going to be over 15 in 9 seconds when this candle closes. And so you'll notice predictable price action at these areas. Watch here, adding at 18 for the break over 20. First 1 minute candle to make a new high. I want to catch that flat top breakout through 320. So the high of that last candle there was 19. So we'll give it a chance to curl back up, 15, 16, 17, 18, with a pop over 20. So there's 12, there's 13, there's 14. So the break at 320, and then like right now we've got 8 million shares of volume, it's up 97%. $310 on the ask. Waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, because that didn't make a new high there. So we need to see 315, 16, 17, and then back over 320. There's 14, 15. I'm just going to stop out on that at 301. I'll come back, I'll put a new order at 320. So right through here was a tremendous amount of churn. And usually that coiling results in a breakout. And I was hoping it would be a break to the upside. And in fact, it was a break back to the downside. So the volume weighted average price is 282. So I put an order at 285 so I could possibly do a dip off the volume weighted average price. Dip off the VWAP. But this is going to be a problem because now this candle, this red candle on the 5, which is closing, has the highest volume. So your highest volume is on this candle where it's failed. So now you can see we've got 2 stocks today that have both been a little bit disappointing. ZDGE, SCKT, both made small moves, but nothing really exciting. Volume weighted average price is 282. So I stopped at the low of the consolidation. I was looking for the break over the top. High this candle low is 87. All right, well, Now we've got 15 minutes to the bell. I'll keep an eye on this one. So ZDGE is a possibility. I'm going to leave an order at 320. I'm not going to do the first 1 minute candle to make a new high down here because I don't like that high volume red candle rejection. Those of you guys tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. I'm just running through a couple of these other gappers. We have about 13 minutes to the bell. A reminder of our pre-trading checklist. Did you eat well? Did you sleep well? Do you have a couple stocks on watch that you like? If you do, what's the condition of the overall market? The market has been very high. However, today so far has been a little slower. I'm not sure exactly why that is. And I want to remind you not to blindly follow me or anyone else. You have to understand that day trading is risky. Most beginner traders will lose money. So if you want to prevent yourself from being another statistic of a failed trader, I encourage you to trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And I would also say that you should focus on getting good education, really understanding what the strategy is, not trying to just blindly follow me or anyone else. All right, so SCKT, I can leave an order on this at the high of 4. I just don't know. It's got 26 million shares of volume, and it hasn't really made a big move from kind of 8:30, 8:45 on. ZDGE made an attempt at coming back up towards the pre-market high, but obviously on that candle failed. It's right at the volume weighted average price. So as we sit right now with 12 minutes to the bell, I don't have anything I'm in love with, and I'm a little sad about that. Maybe? So again, you've got a pre-market high up here at 269, and the thing is, this is a bounce off the low. It had a move and sold off so hard. I just don't usually like to go for that. So I don't think that one's for me. Yes, I see ZDGE kind of bouncing off the volume weighted average price right there, which is good. That's a nice spot to take a dip trade. I agree with that. The 5-minute candle here that has a high of 3 is going to end in 20 seconds. So, possibly back over 3, there's another quick trade. I'm going to wait 1 second. I don't want to jump in the top of this big green candle that just had a low of 385. High of this candle's 303. I'm going to let it pull back for a second. So that 5-minute candle has a high of 303. So I'm back in at 303. I'm going to give it one more stab. Let's see if it pops over 315. So I'm in at 303, and the high of this candle here is 308. So I'm looking to add. I'm adding there 308 for break of 10. Now, is it going to continue up to 315? I mean, the chart would say it certainly should. It's a bull flag. It's the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And the first 1 minute pullback after a fresh 5 minute breakout is also a valid trade. It's holding back over the whole dollar. There's 10 on the ask. I want to see 11 and 12. Can it break over 310, that little sort of dime? So because I'm feeling a little iffy, I took some profit there at 308. And I'm gonna look to do a dip trade on the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Let's see if it holds 3 here. Added at 95, bought that dip for the pop back up over 3. There's 3 on the ask. Taking profit at 301, 302. So that helped salvage a little bit on ZDGE, those 2 little trades, that pop and then the dip. But as we come into the open right now, this is where I sit, up 3,800, 1,800 on ZDGE and 2,000 on SCKT. So not a lot of profit relative to what I've been doing, and so I might just want to be a little cautious here at the open and see whether or not it's going to be just a slow day. I think possibly being a little more picky today is going to be a good idea. I would say on this that you would certainly think that first candle to make a new high from 303 would have given you more than 7 cents a share. So I don't know. High is 310, high here is 320. So those are the levels to watch, I guess. Back down to the volume weighted average price. I'm back into the 88, doing a dip off the VWAP. This is just going to be a quick trade back up to 93. Taking profit, 93. 5 cents a share, whatever. So that puts me up to 1993. It's, just a little bit here and there. If I can try to sort of scrape my way up to 5,000-10,000 on the day, I'll probably be happy with that. Now, if we do see something really open up, I'll see it on the high day Momo scanners. So the high day Momo scanners will definitely give us direction today. Back to the top of the gap scan, SCKT, curling back up a little bit. My order, I guess I'll just leave at $4. Well, I'll leave it at 4. If it can break back over 4, maybe there's an opportunity. I don't want to take that pre-market though. I'd wait for the bell to ring on this one, but maybe there's something on this back over 4. ZDGE, 310 and 315, so I'll put an order at 3. I'll just leave the order at 320. I'll just leave it at the high of that little pivot right there. But it's high red volume on those candles. It's not looking that impressive. And going further down the scan, DOGZ, I'll put it on my level 2. If we see it start to rip out of the gates, maybe there'll be something there. 240 was the high, 320-ish, 309 was the pre-market high. So strategic partnership, is this a Chinese company? Some of the partnerships, Chinese companies. Yeah, okay, so that might carry some sympathy in the Chinese space where we've seen some momentum in Chinese stocks. About 4 and just under 5 minutes to the bell. So DOGZ I'll leave as a maybe, and MDGS and BIMI I'm not as into, so I'd say DOGZ is a possibility over this little pivot right there of 240. ZDGE is a possibility if it can break over 310 and then 315. And SKT is a possibility as well. So we've got a couple possibilities. Ugh. No, I'm not concerned. I'm not afraid of the Chinese stocks. We've seen a lot of momentum in the Chinese stocks. We had Way earlier this week. We had, I can't remember all of them from the last couple of weeks, but we've had a bunch of them. So I'm okay with the Chinese stocks. I don't have any issue with that. Again, as a day trader, that's very different from being an investor. All right, so order at 401 on SCKT, ZDGE, order at 320, DOG, dogs, we just call it dogs with the Z, orders at 260. All right, so that's what we're looking at here with about 3 minutes to the bell. All right, so that's our game plan. Let's see if we can. I know some of you guys had your cactus shirts arrive, which is fantastic. Congratulations. It's very exciting. I've got my cactus shirt draped over me for good luck today. Good luck, good luck. My gosh, Douglas, you've got snow. Where are you? I didn't even know it must be like Colorado or something. I don't know, October 23rd, so Minnesota. Minnesota, Minneapolis. Wow. All right, so on YouTube, if we get to 5,000 thumbs up, I'll give you the link so you can buy your own cactus shirt. But you've got 2 minutes to do it. I'm not taking any more trades before the bell, but it does seem that SCKT is holding up a little bit, and it does seem that ZDGE is also holding up a little bit. All right, we've got about a minute to the bell, a little over a minute to the bell. There are 8,800 people streaming on YouTube, and I've got the link for the cactus sweatshirt. All I have to do is press that paste button. It's very easy. It's just one click of the button, kind of like hitting the thumbs up. It's just one click of the button. It's not that hard. It's not a lot to ask. Okay, so let's go back to the top of the list. ZDGE is kind of creeping back up. Order's going to be at 320 for the open. Yes, you can get the shirt in Canada. So ZDGE is the one that I'm kind of honed in on, but I have it side by side with SCKT. These are the two I'm watching. I'm going to be watching halt levels at the open. Orders ready for both of them. Watching SCKT over 4. That one looks a little stronger right now. Oh, look at ZDGA. So it's funny, you look at one and the other one goes. So I didn't trade either. I got analysis paralysis. I didn't trade either of them. You know what? Maybe that was the right move. ZDGE, flash back down. SCKT, flash back down. All right. Well, it's looking looking like a little bit of a choppy start to the morning. So let me move the Momo scanner up to here. I'll close the gap scanner down. We've got our halt scanner running. I'm going to put up my disclaimer real quick. So good job for hitting 4,000 thumbs up. Long SCKT there. I'm just going to take a quick trade up through 415, and my new order's at 420. Long at 415, adding. This is just a little like kind of rip, drop down, taking a little profit at 21, 23. New order goes at 30. So SCKT, this is the one to be dialed in on right now. Long at 14, buying the dip right there at 14, adding at 30. Momentum up through 35, looking for 40. Watch over 35, adding at 35. There's 37. I've got 15,000 shares. Taking a little profit at 38 and 40. Now going to look for a dip for my next trade on SCKT. Now we're getting some action. All right, so I can work with this. High is 440. Watching dips. Is it going to hold $4? Order will stay at 440. So SCKT, the low of that last dip, 404. Long at 88. Buying at 88, buying that dip. Now I should at least be able to get a 15-cent pop off the low. Can we get back to 410? I'm going to take my profit at 403 for now, and that puts me up 10,000 bucks on the morning. Okay, so where's the next trade going to be? Right through this area. Back in at 410, starting to accumulate a position. Over 415, 420 is the add. Adding at 17. Adding at 28. Scaling up here, looking for the rip on this through 430, 440. Watch here over 35. Order is ready at 435. That high was 429, so 429 is our buy spot. Watch here. Watch 425, 428. We want to try to catch the rip on SCKT up through 450. Watching here. Watching the add, 425. Looking for a retest of that high, 440, and then through 450. There's 20 on the ask. I think it can go a little higher than that. Watch through this dip for the pop back over 420. Then we're looking for 425. There's 420 on the ask. Little churn. And you see the accumulation, the snap through 420, then up through 425, 430. On the month to buy dips. And then catch the pops on this SCKT through 440. Watching here. You see 420 is an important spot. It's an important line in the sand. There you go. Took a little profit there at 25. New order goes at 30. There's a little tug of war there. EVK popping up, but I don't care about it that much. I know it's on the scanner, but the problem is it's a continuation, and it didn't hold up yesterday very well. DOGZ. DOGZ was on our scans. I'm going to watch that one for a second. So here's the problem. This is a day where we've got a lot of stuff moving. What's the one to focus on? So DOGZ. I'll take a long on DOGZ there at 75. And I'm going to add on this at 95. Long DGOZ, looking for the break over 3. So watch this over 3, and then we're going to look for a squeeze. Halt level's 304. So if this halt's going up, it's probably going to open higher. Look for an add at 304 on DGOZ. Watching right here to add. Adding right there for the break through 3. There's 304. Holding 9,000 shares. It didn't halt. My average is 284. There's 304. Holding 2,200 shares. It popped up a little bit more. up to 310. Now can it hold 3? If it can hold 3, I can take a brand new trade on this. I can add back. Adding there at 307. Buying that dip. Now looking for the squeeze up to 315. There's 314. I'd like to see 315 and 16. Flurry of momentum here. I'm still watching SCKT and I'm watching Stop on the Rest of Dogs. I'm still watching ZBGB. So I've got 3 stocks I'm watching. So first 1 minute candle to make a new high on this. We double top sort of on our pre-market high. The high of this candle was 318. My new order's going to go at 322. I'm going to let it pull back for 1 second. Adding at 85. Buying the dip. So bought that dip there on DGOZ at 85. And I'm going to pop back up to 3, 97, 98. Watch for the break back over 3. Still holding. SCKT, I'm not focused on that as much right now. Looking for DGOZ back over 3. Just some kind of nice little flurry there of momentum. There's 90 by 91. 91. Looks like a hidden seller at 91. Can it break that level? Can it break? No. I'm going to hit the bid at 90. Oh, man. Take out. I took a loss on DOGZ, but you know what? I'll look to come back to it. It's fine. High was 318. All right, so what is next? SCKT flushing back down a little bit. I could consider a dip trade on it at a certain point, but I'm not sure. Of the ones we're watching, DOGZ is the strongest. It's holding up the best, right? So I'm back in DOGZ there at 93, 94. Let's see if it can break over 3. There we go. I'm just going to take my profit on it for right now, and then I'm going to look for my next trade. The high is 324. So 325 will be my next order. Looking for a micro pullback. There was a quick trade there. I was in at 19 and out at 29, 10 cents. Just too quick to even call it. It was 1 second breakout. New order goes to 31. Back in at 28. Adding at 28, trying to scale in now for the squeeze up to 350. Now it's starting to accelerate a little bit. Watch over 335. There's 40. Get the break at 50, orders at adding 40, scaling in here for the break through the $0.50. So over 345, 350. I'm going to put an order at 51. Watching DOGZ over 50. So we're getting that acceleration here, which is what I like to see. This is churning though, so I'm taking a little profit at 30 or 28, something like that. I'm going to look to adding 23, buying that dip. And now I want to see if I can get the top back up over 40. We've got 10 million shares of volume, we're up 110%. There's 31. A little bit of churn here. I'm hitting the bid and taking the rest off the table there. So I'm going to say I'm going to buy at 99. I'll just do that flash dip on 99. If I can get 10, 15 cents off 99, that's a decent trade. Yep, so selling at 10, 6,000 shares, that's an extra $600. The high on this is 241. 5-minute candle has just closed as a top and tail. Right there, you've got top and tail. So short sellers are going to see that and probably try to hit it short versus the high. So you've got top and tail, so the short and the stop at 41. So I'm going to step aside on it for right now. I don't like that top and tail candle. All right, so those of you guys on Facebook and YouTube, hit the thumbs up. I'm still streaming, but I want to see 5,000 thumbs up. So we're at 4,100. Each one of you guys, take 1 second to hit that thumbs up. Take 1 second. Makes a huge difference for the channel. All right, if you want me to keep streaming the whole morning, you gotta give me those thumbs up. That's what helps the channel. These videos, I don't monetize them with ads, so I don't get paid by YouTube for streaming. I've got students in the chat room, and I can't stream for you guys every day, so you gotta make it worth it for me to do it. Bimmy, I'm not sure about this one. We've got a high there of 269. As I said, my problem with it is you have this high of 409, and it's sold off so much. KXIN, yes, this is another Chinese stock that we traded. You know, to be honest, this one's a different setup. This is a continuation setup. First daily candle to make a new high. This is going to be higher risk, but I'm going to take it. Long at 28. The halt level's 43. And here's the deal. This is the first daily candle to make a new high. Over 45 is my add. So I'm adding on this, going into the halt with a target of, at this point, $6. I'm not taking anything off the table. It's a light volume stock, but thank you for calling it out because it's the first daily candle to make a new high. The first daily candle to make a new high is a powerful setup. It's one that I really like. New order is going to go at 575 for the add over 6. You see right here, daily target, $5.99. $6 is the first target. So this is a setup that is acceptable for me to trade with no news because it's a very critical technical breakdown. The first daily candle to make a new high after a parabolic move. These almost always result in at least a 10% move, and that's why this is a swing trading strategy. And so the swing trading strategy says put an order at 314 as a good to go live limit order, buy stop order. So the first daily candle, you get long. First daily candle to make the new high, you're buying into that, and then your target is 10% above that, which would be at least, in this case, well, 550, it's already broken that, so 20% would be up towards 6. So I'm going to put my order on this at 575, and I'm going to put another order at 585 to be aggressive, because this one had this huge move earlier in the week. It went from a low of 275 all the way to 1340. Then it pulled back, which is typical, and now the first daily candle to make a new high, boom, that's what I think, that's what So thank you for throwing that out, because I didn't see that. This continuation setup like this, they're not always on my scanners. This will hit my scanners when it gets a little bit more relative volume, but the harder fun to scan for because they, you know, they just sort of, you've got to be doing daily scans, and I don't always do daily scans. I usually wait for, you know, the stock to hit my scanner, but I do need to work on my kind of former Momo scanner because that's the one that I sometimes miss. So thank you, Eric. Good job, man. That's a good call. And again, the volume is lighter, and that does make it a little bit riskier. But on the other hand, the first daily candle making a high, this is also the spot where a short seller who might have been sitting in the short is going to cover because just like this, you can see this go from 550 to 650 and even 750. It wouldn't be uncommon to see that type of squeeze. So here are our levels. Now, so we've got we've got 1344. The CLPS, I'm not really sure about that one. It's too far off the market high right now. I wait for that one to come away from high. It's testing the VWAP, but that's going to be possible. So what I'm going to look for on this, that's an awesome scoop. Now, did I get in a little high? Yeah, I started scaling into the 20s and added into the halt. But buy high, sell higher, that's the goal. So I'm in this here, and I'm going to look to add on resumption. I'm showing $5.75 resumption right now, and I'm going to move my order up to $6. So orders at 601. High of, let's look at this for a second. So I'm going to switch to, let's see. First of all, resumption is going to be in about, just about a minute. Alright, so I want to switch this to the daily real quick, break this down really fast what my target is. So first target is 6, but I think it might open at 575. That's what I'm showing right now. Let's see it squeeze up to 6, and then the next target is 698, which is the height of this candle. Obviously the high back here is 1340. What we might see would be a move up towards 7. If we broke 7 and got it to 8, then I would start to think, okay, maybe there's a chance that we see something a little more parabolic. But we'll see what we get. Alright, so those are the levels that I'm watching there. Chart. So jumping on the second stock of the day, which is also see that one as well. But the thing I don't like about Bing, see, KXIM has big green candles. Bing on the daily chart has a big red candle. So I don't like that. So KXIM, I'm showing 580 right now. Okay, my order is still at, I have 2 orders. I have one at 86, one at 75. And I'm going to try to add on this and look for that quick break over 6. Now, if we get a squeeze of the parabolic, I'm going to want to take profit, but if it looks like we're going to go right into a second halt, then I'll probably try to add for the squeeze of the second halt. Alright, so let's watch this here. Hands on the buy button, looking at 601. Adding right there for the breakthrough 6. There we go. There's 6. Holding, watching. New order goes to 615. 630 is the halt level. I'm taking some profit. Taking profit at 615 and looking at new order at 620. High of this candle is 620. So 620 is the next spot. Adding there at 6. Buying that dip. Now looking for the pop back over 620. Waiting. Adding right there 604. Starting to scale up here. Looking for the break over 620. Watching. Look for 610, 615, and then that quick break over 620. More than 17,000 shares. There's 620. That's what we want to see. Taking profit, 617, doing the right thing there. We've got 2 million shares of volume now. Volume is really cranking in. High is 629, the order goes to 630. So our next target is 698. We broke through 6, that critical resistance level. Taking a little more profit off at 608, scaling down to small size. I'm going to let it pull back for a second. I'm going to let it consolidate, and then on the 10-second chart, I'm going to look to do a dip trade. Down here 580, 576, and I added 580. I just bought that dip there at 580, which is a bounce off of essentially the open price on the gap. So now I'm looking for the pop up over 6. If I can add for the break over 6, watching for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. So waiting a second, I didn't add. First 1 minute candle making a new high. High of this candle 608. So I'm going to put my order at 610. Nice big bid there. See that 30,000 share bid? Adding 93. I want to see a break over 610. Adding a 605. So now I'm just going to hold for a second. See if I can be in for the first one for the candle making a high. Well, we did get it by 2 cents, but let's see if it continues at 610. Still holding 7,000 shares. Adding there 58, buying that dip. So trying to catch a pullback here, put the top back up. 550, 553 should be support. We've got 4.2 million shares of volume. Adding at 68. So scaling up here, 15,000 shares. Looking for the squeeze back up into the 90s. I want to catch the pop up over $6. There's 84. So looking for 85, 86, 87. The pop back up over 6. Normally when I'm in stocks like this, I try not to let off the hook. Add off the $0.50, or 1 minute to making high, pop back up to 75.85. There's 74, 69, 73. High of this current candle is 85. Seeing green on the tape, which is good. There's 76. 75 on the ask. Watching, adding there at 75, scaling up to 15,000 shares. There's 5, 5. We're below the volume weighted average price, which is not perfect. Taking a little profit there at 82. No, sorry. I tried at 82 and I didn't get filled. I'm going to do another dip down here. Long at 48, buying the dip. So I'm buying this off the support levels. So from 48 up to 60, 65. We've got 60 on the app. This is below the volume weighted average price. My cost basis is 60. Position profit is 64. Small win. Holding. Low pullback is 43. First 1 minute candle, 5 minute candle, make a new high back over 610. Get rid of this line. So orange intraday lines. That's what we're working with. SCKT, let me look. SCKT, look at that. Alright, so I'm going to keep holding for a second. I'm going to look at SCKT. This is a break of volume weighted average price setup. Adding at 15, 30,000 shares, SCKT, and adding at 30 right there, up to 46,000 shares. Alt levels 43. Holding full size, looking to add over 45 on SCKT. Squeeze up over the $0.50. Adding there at 44, 60,000 shares. 64 million shares of volume on it right now. Looking for the break over the $0.50. There's 25, 26, there's 30. Took some profit, letting it sit for a second. Adding at 13, buying that dip. Looking for the pop now, back over 25, 30. Stopped out at 90. Decent trade overall. Still holding a smaller size on KXIN. I'll let that consolidate for a minute. We'll see the curls back up. SCKT, the high there was 50. So high this 1 minute candle. So this is another example of jumping in high. That was a nice rip there. We're going to hold this level and get back up through the $0.50. make as much on that trade as I could have. And then goes back a little profit off the top. So let's see. So where's the next trade on this one? 20-minute candle high is 408. I'm long there at 401. 15,000 shares. I'm looking for the first 1 minute candle making me high. And over 410 is mad. Watching 408, 409 to break. Still holding. Looking for this 10-second chart to pop back up over 408, 409. There's 5. When you see a break in 410, you can order 411 to add. Added at 7. There we go. Nice pop there. Get some profit at 15. Holding smaller size now. The profit at 4.9. The order goes for highest candles 19, so 420. The problem with I'm still holding a small size position on KXIN. I'm going to see whether or not it gets back above the volume weight average price. The problem with SCKT is just that it, although it made a really nice move, it didn't pull back. A reminder that none of you guys should be blindly following me or anyone else. Now, the stocks that I'm trading, for the most part, are the stocks that probably any active day trader of small caps would be focusing on because they are volatile. KXIN was a big momentum stock earlier this week. It's one you want to keep on your radar. From 480 this morning up to 629, 2 days ago from 275 to 1340. It's a stock that when someone mentions, hey, KXIN's popping, I'm going to pull it up fast and jump in fast. I basically marketed into it as it was squeezing up, and that was just not the wrong move, it was the right move. SCKT, I marketed into this one with over 50,000 shares. It was squeezing up here. I'm up right now at 17,000 on SCKT. So, it was the right move. It hit a high of 50. I thought it was going to maybe halt, and it didn't. So I'm going to let SCKT pull back here. I'm still holding a small position on KXIN, CLPS. So I see that. I think it looks good. Wait for a second. Over 60 or 50 or 60 is the spot. ZBGE. Would have to curl over volume weight average price. I'll put that one on watch. So it's 9:59 at the end of the first 30 minutes. I'm disappointed that SCKT is failing this dramatically. I would consider, though, a dip trade on it. See what it does over the $0.5. Got a starter on it. I'll look to add closer to 350. So I'm just going to let SCKT work for a second. We'll see if it curls back up off this kind of descending support line. So you can see through here that I bought it right there, and I'm still holding. KXIN, back over the volume weighted average price. This is my next possible trade. I'm still holding down a little bit. My cost basis is 560 and down 8 cents. ZBGE. Volume weighted average price is the spot I'm watching. Nice on SCKT. There we go. Starting to move up a little bit more. So I'm going to take some profit on SCKT, took it off the table there. 65 for my dip entry. I'm happy with that for right now. Another pullback off of 50 could be another trade. So a little bit of a choppy morning. I mean, some nice squeeze there on SCKT for sure. That was a nice squeeze. DOGZ, kind of nice rip there from 220 to 340. We're definitely seeing some moves in the market. KXIN, a nice squeeze from 480 to 620. I am giving it a chance to see if we get a 5-minute setup on it. So the Momo scanner is telling me where we have momentum. And again, those of you guys on YouTube, you can see the delay in the screen right here. That's the timestamp on my clock. It's right now a 8-second delay from my screen to where I'm seeing it. There's nothing I can do about that. This is YouTube. It's a free streaming service. They don't, you don't get ultra low latency real time streaming. We have ultra low latency streaming servers that we use for our chat, and so that is usually basically as close to real time with very minimal delay depending on where you're logging in from. You can get that on YouTube. You're not going to get it on Facebook either. There's nothing I can do about that. Again, if you're trying to blindly follow me, you've already got the wrong idea. That's not the way to be a successful trader. You should be learning from me. Why am I trading what I'm trading? Why am I getting in where I'm getting in? And then you should practice in a simulator. Trade in a simulator before you ever put real money on the line. High risk candle here is 580 on CLPS. So where would I possibly be watching this? Maybe over 578, 580, right? So I start watching these levels. So if you're watching the same timing sales that I'm watching, right, you're seeing it right here, you're going to see 78. You're going to see the green tape rip through, and you're going to think, okay, if this thing breaks over 78, it's probably going to break through the highs. And that's the spot where I'm, potentially a buyer. So you got to be able to see that in real time. You could be sitting right next to me and still be, missing the opportunities because you need to be able to see it in real time. By the time I'm even scoping the work, the opportunity has often happened. Now, I try to tell you in advance what I'm liking, what I'm looking at. So like for CLPS, you already know that this is what I'm liking and looking at. By the time I'm in it, you know, it's already, the perfect entry is already passed. Doesn't mean you can't take a pullback or something like that, but you know, the perfect entry will pass. So CLPS is a double top right now against its pre-market highs. This is one that, let's back out the daily chart. So, you know, it's got a bit of trading history to it, not a ton. Let me just double check this. No, that's right. That's So, did any of you take that trade? I didn't take it. I was looking at the chart. I missed it. So the entry would have been 78, right? And you could have taken profit right there at 85, 80, 10 cents. 5,000 shares, it's $500. So it's about learning the way level 2, learn to read level 2, learn to read the momentum. So even though I didn't get the good entry there, the high is 94, so I'll put my new order at 95, 1 penny above the highs. I'll put it at $6. So I start watching here, watching the tape. Do I see green? Do I see an indicator? I see some green. I'm long there. I'm buying. So I saw the green. I see a seller at 6 in a grade 6. New orders at $6. If it can break 6, I'll add to the grade 6. Add right there for the grade 6. So now I've got a cost basis of $5.95. That means we're just doing up to 610, 615, 25. Our high on that candle is 605. In this case, we'll see whether I can add there at 82 or buy the dip. Brings my cost basis down a little bit. We'll see if we get a retest of, what are we talking about, 605 or something like that. On the daily chart, we do have room on this, so let's see if we can get back over 6. SCKT, I'll keep half an eye on, but right now is not quite set up the way I like it. So CLPS, looking for it to break back over 6. So we've got 81, 82, 83, 45, 88. So looking for that pop back over 6, and then 605, 610. Again, SCKT up to the way. CLPS, watching. First one is making the high to the opposite trade over time. So let's see if it goes around 90 or 71. Roll that last one back to 68. Running high there 67. So buy that dip. See if I can catch a pop on this for the first 1 minute candle, back up into the 90s. But, you know, I'll say that this is one that I got in a little
like a
high.
migraine in one of my eyes.
And it looks like I'm
I have a
a
headache in my eye. Like my eye hurts.
So we've got 58 on the bid. My average is
It's
85.
giving me a headache.
Te tem migraña, eh?
I thought I
Back
was
up to
about to check it out and
75,
it'll
80.
go away, but it's like it
There's
doesn't go away.
67, 68, 67. And I gotta cut it. So I got slippage out at 42, 12,000 shares. So it is what it is. Alright, well, but in any case, so the right entry was there at 78 and I bought it. I chased it up here at 95 for the break over that level. So you win some, you lose some. It is what it is.
I'm gonna sing ABC. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, Q, R, S, T, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABC. Say I don't know the P. Because I skipped the P.
I know this.
Alright.
I'm doing a video. I'm not doing a video, but I saw a video.
RIN.
It did that.
high, which would be over 313, right? You see that setup? So I'll take a long dip. I'm anticipating the break over 310. Watching the add over 3. Adding right there at 3. Target on this is 310, 315. We've got a halt level at 339. So first daily candle making high is going to be right here at 313. So I'm looking for MRN to break over 3, 305, 310, and then squeeze through 313. We've got 95 on the ask, 96, 97, there's 304. I want to see 310, and then continuation up towards 320. So on this 1 minute pullback here, our high is 304, so I'm looking for my new order at 305. So what we're looking for is green on the tape or an add over 305. Watching. Watching. Order still here. I'm giving you 1 second to pop up there at 307. So now I'm going to say over 307 is my add. Looking for the break of 307. We've got 99 on the ask, 3. I want to see 305, 306, 307, and then try to catch that squeeze up to 310. All levels 352. So we're watching over 305. Letting it pull back. Tying a dip at 91. And then the first 1 minute candle will make a new high back over 3. I'll look for 305, 307. Gonna squeeze. Let's see if we get 305. Give me a second here. 305, 307. There's a big bid right there at 95. So looking for that squeeze through 305. Highest current level 3. First 1 minute candle making high is what we're looking for.
You know what I want to do? I save the box. I'm gonna cut it, and we're gonna put an item in the box. You gotta stick your hand in, and that's what it is.
96 by
Oh,
97.
another game. Why
You
don't
can
we
tell
put like
$3 is a perfect spot.
Get a house.
and then there's a note in, and whoever that person is, you have to be that person, and somebody
Put
has
an
to
order
guess
at
the number.
307.
Whatever the note says.
Yeah.
Alright.
So whatever the note says.
So we gotta write some papers down. Like it is,
Now it should have broken there better, so I'm just gonna get out of
So
3.
when I come out, right?
Should have broken that level. That was a false break right there on the 10-second chart. It hit 302, false break, and then flash back down. So anytime I see a false break starting to happen, I'm gonna say no. Not interested in that. Bounce off VWAP. Do another trade. Take a small position there, 78. Just stop on it. See if it does bounce off the volume weighted average price. But I think what we're starting to see here, I think probably in part because of the big rejections on SCK. Big rejections up there, another rejection down here. We're starting to see that these aren't holding up super well. Where would SCKT be safe to be long? I mean, yes, over 419 would be bullish. 419, 420, that was that previous level right here. And then a quick rip back to 450. I mean, that's the level that I would watch, but I would just be concerned about the possibility of a false breakout. So I'll put an order at 25. Okay, here's the link. For those that haven't already seen it,
Mom, I have another
I'll
game
give you
too.
the link to
We're gonna
the
do
Cactus
this. Whatever's
sweatshirt.
in the hat.
So we're still
Something.
gonna do mines too?
And of
Yeah,
course today's
something is in the hat, right?
announcements.
And whatever it says, you have to be.
Sweatshirt.
You have to like be it, like do it, and then whatever it says, you have to be like
Right. And then I want to make cookies, chocolate chip lead cookies.
KXIM is still holding.
But it's chocolate
We'll
chip.
see if that breaks back over the volume weight average price.
We got to go to see what the animals.
Still holding MRIN, so I have two positions open right now. Stop on MRIN. That's
Alright. You sexy.
We have to do it. That's what I made. Jason, guess what I made? Wait. Whisper it in my ear. Whisper the issue. You can say it out loud. Yeah. Now you can say it out loud. Oh.
I was giving it to her on the low, and then I would give her like 3 de una vez, and I'll give one to Jason, then I'll give her like 2 de una vez and 1 to Jason, because she had more than Jason, and I didn't want him to catch on to that. So while he was opening one, I was giving her like 2 or 3 because she would open it fast. You should have told me, you gotta tell me these things, baby, because I could be fucking saying things.
Este está en el canal de él.